Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this series we are discussing the OpenTofu, right? So in last video we have seen the what is the purpose of TF state file, what is the purpose of backup file, why the tofu are getting refresh all the states for the current state and the desired state, right? And if you need to store all these files like the configuration file and maybe the TF state file, so what is the best recommendation and what is the best practices, right, in industry we follow, that we have already covered. So today we will gonna discuss the data sources, right? So data sources, what is data sources, right? So data sources is something which will allow OpenTofu to manage, right, or to read the data which is already existing, but we are not managing with the tofu, right? That's what this is, right? So let me write here. It allows your tool, right? In this case, like we are using the OpenTofu, so obviously OpenTofu, but data source is supported with Terraform as well, right? To fetch or maybe to fetch the information, right? That pre-exist outside of config file. In layman terms, what I'm saying is the thing which are already present in your infra, right? Whether it could be file, whether it could be IP, whether it could be your, if in case of AWS, if I talk about the AWS infra especially, let's say you have already a pre-existing VPC, right? And you are deploying a EC2 instance, right? But you don't want to uh, hard code that VPC information. You don't want to pass that information. What you want is that OpenTofu go ahead and read that what is the VPC already existing in that particular region or maybe in that particular availability zone or whatever, right? Wherever you have defined, read that particular VPC. If you have multiple VPC, then still there are way to filter out that using the tag or something, right? That we will see in the AWS. But here you want that EC2 instance to be deployed in that particular VPC, right? So to read that VPC information, so that OpenTofu will find, okay, I need to deploy EC2 instance in that particular VPC. You can fetch that information using the data sources, right? So still we are yet to configure our AWS account and how you can talk via API from the OpenTofu to AWS. That still we need to do. But as of now, just to understand the data sources, so data sources is again, it is something that which can fetch the information which is not managed by the OpenTofu. All right. So let's see a quick example because this will be gonna short video. It's a very small but important topic, right? Because it will create your code very dynamic, right? Like the thing which is already existing, you are just reading and then you are using it, right? So what I will do is I will gonna create another file here called what is the name of that file? We will put name as a data underscore sources dot tf. Fine. Now I will copy this stuff, entire stuff, and I will put it here. Now I am gonna create a file called result.txt, right? And how you can define the data with the data block. What I'm doing is again I'm using a local file, okay, and just give some name like D file I will give, and this we will give R file, result file, and D file is something, let's say that a data file which is already present, right? Here I just need to give the name of that particular file. I will gonna copy it and I will paste here. But the file name is, I will show you, it is existing.txt. So I have created already one file called existing underscore file.txt and put some random stuff here, right? So this content I want to read, right? And I want to put in result.txt. How you gonna do that? Remember the resource attribute we have seen. So here our resource is data. Under that we have something called local data dot local file dot d file, right? And dot content. So that is that I am reading this data source file using the resource attributes, right? Data is our that this block. Under this block we have something called local file, this provider, and d file is the resource logical name of this file, and under this we have something called content, right? So let's try to run it now. If I say tofu plan, so here you can see, okay, it is giving some error that file at given path cannot be read. Okay, maybe existing file. Okay, it's correct. Let's plan one more time. Still, it is giving me this system cannot find the file specified, but it is there only, right? Underscore demo, we have existing. Oh, it's underscore file, right? So sometimes we do some typo as well. Anyways, let's clear it and one more time. So this time you can see it is reading, right? What it is doing is it gonna create a new file, and that file is having that, you can see that random pet generated is okay. This is fine. Random pet after is, you can see that this data is coming already, which is already there, right? So that's how that. Let's quickly apply it, and let's say yes, and now we have a new file called result file, right? So this is the way that we can read the existing data. It could be your IP, it could be your email, it could be your VPC, it could be your Amazon AMI, right? Which you already defined somewhere and you don't want to repeat in your code, right? Rather, you want that OpenTofu go ahead and read that data which is already there and then read it. So that file we can read using the data sources. All right. So that's the data source topic. It's a small topic, I know, but it is important to understand, right? Because when we write a code in AWS, so we need to understand, okay, if VPC is already there, then how we can call that particular existing VPC, right? Then only we will be able to do it, right? There are few small topic as well, right? But what I am planning now, let's create a AWS account in next video, and let's configure the our user and the API communication between your local system towards AWS console, right? Using the key, right? We have the key. I'll explain in the next video, and then we will try to deploy one small EC2 instance using the AWS provider, because so far we are just using some very basic provider, right? Local file and maybe some random pat or time, right? All these. But let's do a real scenario now, and we will see how we can manage our infra in a just code. All right, so that was quick video for data sources. I hope you like this. So let's meet in next video, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.